Geez, we can breathe a huge sigh of relief after that one. That was not pretty at all, and certainly not the way any Chelsea fan would have liked it. But I guess it wouldn't be the Chelsea way if we didn't make it as hard and as difficult as possible for ourselves. Spurs and Gareth Bale did us a huge favour today, ensuring we finished in the Champions League places by beating Leicester 4-2 and securing themselves a place in the Conference League while they're at it, which I'm sure they're absolutely chuffed with. What a strange season it has been, so much so that I'm about to say something I never thought I would say, unless, of course, Spurs sold us Kane. But I'm going to say thank you to Spurs. I, for one, certainly never thought I would be thanking Spurs, but they have done us a huge favour today. Speaking of Harry Kane, by God, could we have used him today? I think we had 23 shots, 7 on target to their 6 and 3. We had an XG of 3.4 to their 0.98. That was 0.2 without the penalty as well. 71% possession to their 29, but somehow once again ended up on the losing side, which is just the story of our season. Not clinical enough in front of goal, which leaves us in an interesting position going into next season, and I'm a bit torn on whether or not we need a new striker. We've already spent 200 million, roughly 200 million, on attacking players with proven pedigree who have scored bucket loads of goals over their careers. Even just last year alone, Werner got 28 goals in the league, Havertz got 12, and despite looking lively today off the bench, which should give Tuchel some food for thought, he did waste a few good opportunities. The one that Mings blocked with his arm, don't even get me started on that. He missed another great opportunity close up at the back stick. Pulisic, 9 goals last year. He was quiet again tonight. That's been 3 odd games in a row now where he's looked very quiet, off the pace. Mason got 7 last year. He had a decent chance early on in the game, the half volley that he put over the bar after taking it off the feet of Christian Pulisic. Ziyech, who also looked promising off the bench. He actually looked like he was trying and he cared this time, which makes for a nice change. He got 6 goals last year in the league. Those 5 players got a combined 62 goals in the league last year. And this year, those players have got 22 goals in the league. That's almost a third of the output of last year, and 1 fewer than Harry Kane on his own this year, playing under a very defensive-minded Mourinho for most of the season. And that just isn't good enough. They obviously have the quality and the history of scoring proficiently, but it just hasn't happened for them this year. And I'm not 100% sure whether we need to go balls to the wall to get Haaland or Kane this summer. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, but I do think they probably deserve another shot next year, as 3 proven top-level players don't just turn shit overnight. And they've all shown flashes this year. Each of them have had their purple patches this year, bar Mount, who's been pretty consistent year-round. This season has been unprecedented, with 3 of those players moving to a new country in a more competitive league during these turbulent times. But I think where I stand with it is, if you can get Haaland, which is a huge if this summer, I think you get him. There'll be fewer clubs in, less competition. Harry Kane, on the other hand, I'm less so sure about. He's coming to the latter end of his career, and Spurs would ask for an astronomical sum if Levy was even willing to negotiate with Chelsea, obviously with them being a rival club. If we were to sign one of those 2, I think we would have to sell not only Tammy, who I think is already on his way out after being left out of the squad again, but I think we'd have to sell another one of our attackers. If we continue with the 5 at the back, it would just put someone like a Hudson-Odoi or a Ziyech in the same position Tammy is currently under, or Werner if he doesn't move to one of those number 10 positions. I also think there are more pressing issues that need to be addressed in the transfer window, one of those being central midfield. Jorginho's flaws in defending transitions were exposed again today. He gave away the penalty. He got another one of his customary yellow cards for taking down an opponent in transition, which he seems to get every single game. This weakness tends to be exposed the most when we're chasing a lead, when we're 1-0 down and we need to get the goal. Jorginho's bad performances seem to coincide with every bad game we have. When he plays poorly, we tend to play poorly and not get the desired result. I'm thinking Arsenal, West Brom, today. When we're in complete control of games, controlling the possession, we're able to mask his lack of pace and defensive awareness. But I think we could do with a proper defensive midfielder in the transfer window, as we currently don't have one at the club. Jorginho's excellent at controlling games, but he seriously lacks the pace and physicality needed to truly thrive in the Premier League. Kovacic is exceptional at progressing the ball up the pitch and beating the press. Similar to Kante, they don't have the discipline needed to play in that sitting midfielder role. And we saw that under Lampard when Kante was deployed as a 6. Not only that, but I think it shackles some of his best attributes as a player. I think he needs to have the freedom to roam, whether that be carrying the ball and driving us forward, or shuttling around the pitch, hounding players down to try to win the ball back. I think this game and a few others in the past month have shown that we need a player in the mold of like a Wilfred Ndidi or a Declan Rice. I've seen many calls for us to switch to a back 4 and try to get the best out of our attacking players, but I don't think we currently have the personnel to play that double pivot without the extra cover that the third centre-back provides. So unless Reece James moves into midfield like he did today when we switched to the back 4, playing in that more disciplined number 6 role that Jorginho plays, minus the lack of pace and physicality, we would need to sign someone in that position. Although I thought Reece did well there and at centre-back, when he's deployed in those positions, production down the right-hand side has really tailed off in his absence. Aspi has really been struggling over these last few months, and that frustration clearly boiled over today with that silly red card on Grealish. I know he's our captain, but he just hasn't shown the form to be the nailed-on starter that he currently is under Tuchel. He's a warrior and he'll forever be a legend of the club, but I think it's incredibly harsh on Hudson-Odoi and Christensen that he is starting game in, game out at the moment, despite not putting in the performances to warrant this. Obviously, he's not at fault for the team's overall performance today, which was incredibly poor, and we were lucky to be bailed out by Spurs quite literally, and there's no getting around that. I have, however, seen some fans losing their heads over this game, and I do think some perspective needs to be applied. We were 9th in January, Champions League and FA Cup final appearances were an unrealistic dream. The top 4 was quickly slipping out of our grip. So to finish top 4, which would have most certainly been the objective set by the board for Tuchel, I think is still a success, with the prospect of winning the Champions League still alive. And hopefully this poor performance lights a fire under some of these players' asses and they lift their game for the final this weekend, because it's going to take one hell of an effort to beat Man City 3 times in a row. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, and if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with new videos. Thanks.